Praise the Most High. Want to give all honor and glory to Yahawashi. This class is about the rejection of Yahawashi. 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5. Second Timothy 3, 1 through 5.
2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents.
And this is what's going on in our society. There's so many people that are just puffed up with pride, and they're disobedient to their parents. They're not lovers of God. And a lot of people, this is why they don't want to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. They have a lot of pride on them. And this is why a lot of people aren't wanting to come together, because of their pride. They want to go out there for vainglory. Read.
Unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God.
And this is what's going on. A lot of people, they have this hate towards the people that go out and put in this work. They don't like it when we go out to those highways. A lot of people, they just have this great disdain when they see us out there, because they have this hate towards the Most High. 2 Timothy 3, is that all that?
Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away.
And so we have to turn away from those people. And he actually said that light has no fellowship with darkness. We have to come out from amongst them. 2 Timothy 3, verse 6.
Verse 6. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, led away with diverse lusts.
And then there's a lot of people that just try to take advantage of people with the word of God. They go out there and use it for their own self-gain. But see, the Lord, He trieth the reins and the hearts. He knows what's going on in people's minds. 2 Timothy 3, 9 through 10. 2 Timothy 3, 9 through 10.
2 Timothy 3, 9 through 10. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was.
And the Most High said they're not going to continue on. The people that are doing this for their own self, who's not doing this with a pure heart, they have interior motives. They got their own agendas for the reasons they're out there. The Lord knows what's going on. He knows He trieth the reins and the hearts. Read on.
But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, peace, patience.
And see the Most High, He left everything we needed in the Scriptures. He left these laws, statutes, and commandments for us to live a righteous life. John 7 and 17. John 7 verse 17.
John 7 verse 17. If any man will do His will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God or whether I speak of myself.
So if you're doing God's will, you're going to know of this doctrine. You're going to know of it because you're doing those laws, statutes, and commandments. So Christ is saying this Himself. John 7 verse 24.
Verse 24. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment.
And a lot of people, this is what they can't get over. They can't get over what they see. This is what they did to Christ. When He was in Jerusalem, they had this hate towards Him because how He looked. And when you read the Scriptures, you'll see that Christ was a very dark-skinned man. And people have a problem with the people that are dark, or anybody that looks like them. So this is why they don't want to listen. But if someone like Joel Osteen was out there, they'd go up and listen to them. Luke 19 verse 14.
The book of Luke chapter 19 verse 14. But His citizens hated Him and sent a message after Him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us.
And see, that Christ is, all the people, our own people hated Christ when He was out doing His ministry in Jerusalem and all those cities. They hated Him. He was trying to reach them and save all His people, and they hated Him. They said, we only have one king, and that's Caesar. That's who they wanted, just like they're doing in this society. In this Babylon, they're wanting to worship Caesar Borgia. John 19 verse 12.
John 19 verse 12. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release him, but the Jews cried out, saying, If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar.
See, they said we only have one king, and that's Caesar. And that's what the people are doing in this society today. They're saying the same things. They're saying, no, we don't want to worship Yahawashi. We want to worship Caesar. By doing all these pagan days. They want to do Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day. They want to eat crab, lobster, and all this shrimp. All these things that he told us not to eat because he gave us dietary laws, moral laws, civil laws. He gave us all these different laws, but they don't want to do them. Luke 19, 26 through 27.
Luke 19, 26 through 27. For I say unto you that unto every one which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
So this is why Christ said in Matthew, for those that desire to save their life, they're going to lose it. You want to hold on to all this carnal stuff in this society, he's going to take that stuff away from you. And this is why he said all these things. He gave us all these straight commandments, and they weren't crooked. They were all straight. But a lot of people don't want to do them. Jeremiah 4:22.
Jeremiah 4, verse 22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge.
And see, he's saying this through the prophet Jeremiah, how sottish, all that means is stupid. He's saying my people are stupid children. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. So, all Christ came to do was try to save his people and give them a righteous way of living and give them the kingdom. But a lot of people, they don't want it. They want to stay subjected to this mystery. It's not even a mystery anymore. To Babylon. They want to stay underneath. They don't want the whole kingdom and rule this kingdom. Zechariah 7:11 through 14.
Zechariah 7:11 through 14. But they refused to hearken, and pulled away the shoulder, and stopped their ears, that they should not hear.
And a lot of people, this is what they do when we go out to the highways. They refuse to listen to it, and they pull back the shoulder. They never want to hear these laws. Go ahead.
Yeah, they made their hearts as an adamant stone, lest they should hear the law and the words which the Lord of hosts has sent in his spirit by the former prophets. Therefore came a great wrath from the Lord of hosts.
And because he comes in the volume of the book. It says it in Psalms 40 verse 8. Christ came in the volume of the book, and it was written of him. He spoke through all the prophets, from Moses all the way through Revelations. That was Christ speaking through all of them. Go ahead.
Therefore it is come to pass, that as he cried, and they would not hear, so they cried, and I would not hear, saith the Lord of hosts. But I scattered them with the whirlwind among all nations, whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them, that no man passed through, nor returned. For they laid the pleasant land desolate.
And this is why the Lord scattered us. He warned us through Moses in Deuteronomy, Leviticus, Exodus, all those in the Torah. He gave us those laws, statutes, and commandments, and warned us. He gave us the blessings and the cursings. And the people they didn't want to do what he says. That's why we're being subjected to all these people that hate us. All we have to do is return back to him, like he said in Malachi, and he'll return back to us and give us the kingdom that he promised through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Go ahead. John 1:10 through 12.
John 1:10 through 12. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor the will of the flesh, nor the will of man, but of God.
And so you have this opportunity to be sons and daughters of God, but you have to continue in the laws, statutes, and commandments. because he came into his own, and his own rejected him, like they're doing in this society today. They're rejecting him even today. John 8, 31 through 32.
John 8, 31 through 32. Then said Yahawashi to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed.
See, you have to continue doing the law, statutes, and commandments. Then you'll be his disciple indeed. You can't just say, oh, we're saved by grace. That's not what he's not saying that. He says, if you continue in my words, in the law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
And that's why Christ came into the world, was to give testimony of the truth. And that's to be true to God. John 10 and 27.
John 10, verse 27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me.
So if you're a follower of Christ, you have to start being a doer of this word, like James said. To be a doer of the word and not a hearer only, deceiving your own self. You have to actually start to put this into practice. 2 Timothy 2, 19 through 21.
2 Timothy 2, 19 through 21. Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his, and let every one that nameth the name of Yahawashi depart from iniquity.
So the Lord already knows those who are his, and all those that call on the name of the Lord, they must turn from the wrongdoing. You have to start keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. You can't stay in the mud and the mire. He's not going to remember you on that day. Matthew 25, 31 through 34.
But in a
go ahead. Finish
But
that.
in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor, and some to dishonor. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work.
And that's talking about getting rid of every weight and sin that so easily ensnares you, and run this race with endurance to the finish line. You have to stop doing all these things. You can't continue on in the former things that you used to do. Those former sins, you have to come out of them. Matthew 25, 31 to 34.
Matthew 25, 31 through 34. And he shall send his angels
31 through 30.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect. Matthew 25, 31 through 34. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
So when Christ gets here, he's going to be separating the good wheat from the bad wheat. He's going to be separating the sheep from the goats. So if you haven't been keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, you're not going in the kingdom. This is what he's saying. Read on.
Then and he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
And that's the ones that keep the law, statutes, and commandments, because he chose us from the foundation of the world. That's why Christ said in John 15, you did not choose me, but I have chosen you and appointed you that you should go out and bear fruit, and that your fruit remain. He wants us to continue doing these laws, statutes, and commandments every single day of our life. Matthew 25, 40 through 41.
Verse 40 through 41. And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.
So he's going to be separating. He's going to be doing some dividing when he gets here. He's going to be separating the sheep from the goats. And all the people that do us dirty when we go out on those streets and blow the horn and call us names or flip us off or do any of those things, he says, what you have done to those, you have done it to me. So Christ is going to remember all the things that the people are doing to us, because we're doing God's work. we're doing what he told us to do, to go out to the highways and to the byways. Matthew, or 2 Peter 1 and 10.
2 Peter 1, verse 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. For if ye do these things, ye shall never fall.
And this is why we got to examine ourselves and look into the perfect law of liberty to make sure that our election is sure. We have to do this on a daily basis. We have to pray. We have to fast. We have to continue doing all these things that he said to do until the end. This is not a one-day thing. This is a life thing, to do it every day of our life until Christ returns. 1 Peter 4, 1 through 6.
1 Peter 4, 1 through 6. For as much then as Yahawashi has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the...
And this is why Christ died on that cross. That was showing a depiction of him putting away of all the sin. This is what he nailed that to the cross. So this is what our daily death is, to say no to all these things that he told us not to do. To do the laws, statutes, and commandments, and put to death the deeds of the body so we can live. Read on.
But to the will of God, for the time past of our life, may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revilings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you, who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead. For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to the men in the flesh, but live according to God in the Spirit.
So a lot of people, they're going to look at us a certain way and look at us strange, like something's wrong with us, but really it's something wrong with them, because we're looked at as outcasts because we want to do God's will, and they think it's something wrong with us because we don't want to participate in all those things that they're doing. We've come out of it. That's why he said to come out of her, my people, so that you receive none of her plagues. 1 Peter 2, 6 through 10.
1 Peter 2, 6 through 10. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, Behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner.
And this is Yahawashi, the one that they rejected, like they're continuing to do this day. They're rejecting him by not wanting to come back to who they are, coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments. So you're still doing the same things you did back in the time of the Romans. You're rejecting Christ.
And a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God, which have not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy.
And if you're in the light, you have to walk as children in the light, because Christ said, I am the light of the world. Anyone that follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. So if you're calling on the name of the Lord and you're saying you're one of his, you have to do the things you have to walk even as he walked. You have to do the things that he did by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. 1 Peter 2, 18 through 20.
1 Peter 2, 18 through 20.
1 Peter 2.
That's not it. The second.
2 Peter 2.
2 Peter 2, 18 through 20. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, They allure the lust of the flesh through much wanting